So don't do that. No, I'm kidding. Good morning. It's good to see you guys on this morning. Do we have anybody on this morning? Well,
Bev ought to be there.
She's working on it.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what I had to click. There we go. So yeah.
Good morning.
Oh.
We were just laughing about what are we going to talk about today because Larry didn't do the service Sunday. We had missionaries come in.
But they were super awesome.
They were.
First of all, it was a blast catching up with them.
Oh,
I forgot. And here's a weird. They haven't changed a lick. They
I know that was
just
so,
the same.
That was so disturbing. I
Like,
looked at myself in the mirror and went, "What happened?"
Yeah, I'm
to
going.
me?
It's 8 years. Are
Yeah,
you
yeah,
sure?
8 years.
Because they don't look like it.
Yeah.
But she knows because they got married the next week, so she's got it like down when we were there. Oh, good morning, Dennis.
Morning, Dennis.
Um,
Yeah, they sent pictures. They went to Roswell after they left here.
Did they went to the UFO museum?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, how fun!
They said it was worth $7.
Yeah. It's just kind of cool. It's just one of those things. I mean,
Oh, you got to do it.
yeah.
If you go through Roswell, why not?
Yeah, Dennis, you and Rachel need to come visit. We'll take you to the UFO museum
And the Bigfoot Museum.
Oh yeah. I still haven't done the Bigfoot museum yet. I'm waiting for Michael and his family. I want to see. I want to experience it for the first time with Mackay, who's now like 6 or 7.
You haven't been through the Bigfoot Museum?
No, I've been in the gift shop.
Yeah.
I had their ice cream and stuff,
Okay.
but yeah. I just thought that would be most fun to experience with a little kid.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So,
that'd be cool.
I know we're going to take. So we do extended VBS two of the days, and one of the days Cynthia's already worked it. We're going to take the kids to the Bigfoot Museum.
Ooh,
Yeah,
cool.
so that'll be interesting.
How many kids are there? Do you know?
I don't. I know we're going to limit it to 20 to go down just because we have to transport. We're doing Alamo Jump one of the days, but here, and since we're walking, we don't have to have the 20-person limit. So I don't know. People are still registering, but that may be the excitement of their month when we show up with a. I don't know. I don't know if the school I think may have taken a group of kids through there already. Yeah, so it'll be fun. We'll have a good time with that. The Bigfoot Museum. Who would have thought in Cloud Cross?
And it's gone Bigfoot crazy. We went with Narcys and Jen, who were the missionaries that came down. We did the boardwalk, and every shop really had Bigfoot
paraphernalia
in it now.
Well,
it's exploded.
I think I told you. So we were sitting there. I think it was Hope and I. Because in March they had on Fridays buy one get one free ice cream.
Yes.
So we went there for that, and the owner, the lady, was there, and she pulls out her phone and shows me someone took a picture. She said, "It Mescalero."
Wow.
And a Bigfoot picture from Mescalero. She got it on her phone. I was going.
One of the T-shirt shops had a shirt that said, "Bigfoot saw me in Cloudcroft, but nobody believes him."
I like that. But so Narcys, the guy, you said bought a sign and an arrow.
It's an arrow that says Bigfoot Country.
And he's going to aim it down to his office or
downstairs office.
That's funny. Yeah, Bigfoot Country. I asked him. This was so funny. So good morning, Beverly. There she got it on there. I asked him, and if you don't know, Dennis, so Narcys is from Nicaragua. I know you watch on Sundays, so you probably know all this. And so he's got a better tan than I do. And I'm standing there. We were at White Sands, and he's talked about Yeti and then talked about Bigfoot. And I said, most of your pictures look like your Bigfoot. Yeah, kind of shady off in. Well, the funny thing, I said, well, Narcys, what's the difference between Yeti and Bigfoot? He goes, Yeti is white. And I looked at him. I'm like, I hear what you're saying. Yeti, Bigfoot. Yeah. So I would be the Yeti and he would be the Bigfoot, which is awesome because he and I are about the same size. Yeah. So much fun having them. And I love what you said just a minute ago. I love God's timing. God's timing is amazing. And so, by the way, this is the most awake Jim and I have been so far this morning. We were dragging before, but I get excited about stuff like this. God's timing is amazing. And, we connected with him on Facebook, and you've stayed better in touch better than I have, and with him. And so, oh, buenos dias, Jose.
Wow. Good morning.
Yeah, it is a good morning.
¿Cómo está?
Cansado.
Take him a minute.
Yeah, cansado.
Cansado?
Tired.
Oh, cansado. Okay.
It's okay to be cansado and to be casado, but you don't want to be cansado de casado.
Tired and
Married.
tired of being married?
Tired, yes. It's okay to be tired and it's okay to be married. It's not okay to be tired of being married. So.
Yeah. ¿Cómo se dice? I'm sorry.
Yeah, lo siento.
Lo siento, okay.
Me falta. I forget how. Anyhow, I'm sorry. Yesterday, I'm sorry. It was all my fault. Someone told me, cansado is later. Oh no, I wake up that way. both of them. I wake up cansado y casado. So, forgot where we're going with all this. Anyhow,
God's timing.
So cool, God's timing. So it just happened. That was just, they gave us a couple of dates, and I'm like, oh, that would be the perfect Sunday because that's in between the two series.
Right between.
And what they talked about, what they're doing. So they had to do it there. They've been there a year and a half now, I think.
Oh, yeah.
They've had to do it there, but you get into your community, find out who's there, what are they like, and what does it take to reach them.
And then disciple in a format that reaches the people that are there.
That's it. And I tell you, Hope and I talked about this on Monday because Hillary didn't do Job in Jesus with her. Was that yesterday? No, yesterday was Tuesday. Yeah, I don't know what day it is. Today's Wednesday.
And I missed because they were leaving.
So. Oh yeah. I figured that. I figured you. So, Jen is genius. So Narcys loves to play soccer. And they get there, and this is funny. So he's from Nicaragua. He's thinking God's going to call him to be a missionary to Africa or something like that. And he's like, the United States, A
missionary to the United States.
So he's from Nicaragua, a missionary to the United States, and he ministers to guys from Central and Latin America.
Yeah, Latino.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Latino community outside of Boulder,
Lafayette, Colorado. Or something like that. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so how fun. But so that's cool that he's soccer. He's using soccer to minister. He loves to play soccer. Well, she loves cooking. And so she's using that, but hers is even more genius. I want to be part of a international cooking club where I can taste the foods from your country.
You bring a recipe next week. Everybody brings a recipe a week.
So Larry, what are you cooking? Hot dogs. What are you cooking? Is hot dogs an American thing? It probably was stolen from Germany. They did the bratwurst kind of stuff. So
hamburgers, but they're not ham.
Yeah. Oh, they are, depending on what country you order them in. That was the funny thing in Ethiopia. George Lammers, I said, what did you eat? Because we were gone, and he ate while the guide and I were gone, and the guide and I came back, and we were going to eat. He goes, I already ate. Well, what'd you eat? He said, well, I ordered a hamburger. I said, what'd you get? He said, a ham sandwich. So Kyle Fakadu ordered mine and his food. I said, I'll just eat what he's eating. And the guy brings out 2 hamburgers, and George goes, he looks at Kyle or Fakadu, who's the Ethiopian guide. He said, what did you order to get that? He said, beef burger. Like, you order a hamburger, you get a ham. So in their minds, it's kind of like pizza, but in their minds, the burger is just the sandwich kind of thing. If you want a hamburger, it's a ham sandwich. If you want
kind of burger?
Yeah, you need a beef burger. So anyhow, and I found out there too, their pizza, the crust is just a platform to eat stuff. They'll throw anything on a pizza.
Oh, wow.
Whatever. Manuel from Germany, he put tuna on his. Yeah, I just thought he was weird, but apparently that's like another country kind of thing. He put, I guess so. But so anyhow, different countries. But it's so cool. And it was a great reminder that kind of the mindset for us to get into, especially as we head into this next series. But as we look at our community, And
the method matches the culture, but the message never changes.
that's right. Yeah. And you have to do that. And I got a little bit of the demographic stuff in yesterday, or it was like right before Bible study. That's why I hadn't finished looking at it. I just knew what he had told me. It's funny. I'm getting a call.
That makes sense for what Paul was saying, and I never really understood it about I become all things to all people so that the gospel can be.
That's actually the passage for the message this week.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
He's like Jimmy on the spot here. It is, and that's hard for us to think. That, although I guess we can kind of relate to it a little bit when Paul's talking about that. The Jewish culture was really different from the Greek culture, even though they lived in the same areas. And then, I mean, not just there, but we've kind of gotten used to the melting pot kind of thing, in the U.S. But there were a lot of cultures around. So you've got the Greek culture, you've got the Jewish culture, you've got the Roman culture, and they were all really different. Greek, the philosophers, the Romans. I mean, and they had their, the Greeks had their mythological gods, and the Romans had their mythological gods. But a lot of different cultures. We don't see that so much. We think of languages a lot. But when Jesus said to go make disciples of all nations, he wasn't talking about countries. The word is the same word that we get. Well, ethnos is the word, ethnic people groups.
Oh, okay.
Is what he's saying. And so you have to dig into their cultures to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
One of the, it's probably more than just one, but some of the Asian cultures, when they are embarrassed or uncomfortable, they smile. Well, that can cause some really bad situations.
Let's be happy. I'll keep talking.
Or when it's a police officer or a figure authority who's coming down on them and they're sitting there smiling at you the whole time, you think they're making fun of you. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Come on, come at me, bro. And so there can be a lot of misunderstandings that way, but you have to kind of dig in the culture, and it's weird for us in Cloudcroft to think that we have to think that way, but different generations really kind of have different cultures.
Yeah. Well, was it millennials and Gen X who were like both 25% of the population up here?
Pretty close. I think the largest, which kind of surprised me, because I just anecdotally, I don't see them around as much as I see the others. Maybe they just don't get out much. But the boomers are still the highest, I think at 23 some.
Yeah, barely hanging
percent. Right behind them are the millennials, and then the Gen Z. No.
Gen X.
Gen X is third at like low 22% or 21%.
And I appreciate that our Tuesday Bible study is diving into that culture on what they believe about the postmodernism and all that, what their worldview is.
Way different from ours.
Yeah, way different.
Yeah, I mean, mine and Beverly snuck in there. Hey, girl. I didn't even see her.
No, me neither. We got to talking.
I know, we do that all the time. So Beverly, Dennis, and I are in the Gen X generation, and even in our generation, there was, for the most part, an acceptance of God and Christianity.
Truth.
Yes, foundational truth. That's a good way to put it. That we have that just that way. Now the guy on the study that we're doing, just so you know, on Tuesday Night Men's Bible Study is called Road Trip to Truth, and we're in volume 1 or season 1.
Right.
There's several, and it's really kind of geared more, I would say, more toward Gen Z, because those are like college kids.
Yeah.
He was on a college. I assume they're college kids that he's talking to. But even the millennials began to kind of get away from that foundation of truth, and to get into the more of the relativism or relative moralism kind of stuff. So understanding where they are, part of it is you have to know the language. Sometimes you're using the same vocabulary, but a different dictionary.
Right.
So we can say the same words. We've discussed this with like Mormons, Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, my friend Connor.
Yeah. You use the same words, but they have different meanings. And so sometimes we have to dive into that. me too.
Put a hand up.
Yeah. So that's been cool to do that. But what my desire is for our church as we launch into this next part of what we're doing this year, this next part of the series, and the whole series is called Reimagine. But we began with start here, with us. But my goal is that we get into what Narcys and Jen have to do all the time as missionaries, into the habit of constantly looking at our community, finding out about them and what's going to reach them. Because, for example, I grabbed a couple of our millennial couples a few Sundays ago and said, hey, so as we launch into this, I just want you guys to know I'm going to take y'all out to dinner or something, and I want to pick your brain about ideas for reaching millennials, like with small groups and stuff like that. And one of them says, well, we may not be your typical sample group, And I said, well, I think you might be. They're just more solid. They're believers, so that makes it a little. Well, I think it makes a lot of difference. But so it was just funny, Well, you're not. I don't think we're your typical, sample group. And I love that Narcys and Jen are millennials as well. When I talked about the millennials are turning 43, she goes, I'm not turning 43. Okay, the oldest of the millennials are 43 now.
What something you just said made me think that they're in a situation in Colorado where they have to dive into the community, and us too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so easy to get focused inside the walls and go to Sunday services and worship God, and okay, I've done my thing, and then go home, watch TV for 6 days, then come back and worship God.
Mm-hmm.
And I fall into that easily.
Well, and I live here. Oh, Tony's on. Tony's not a millennial. Tony's not a Gen Xer either. I think he's a boomer.
Yeah. How old are you, Tony?
It doesn't take. You don't have to be too much older than Dennis and me to be a boomer, because we came like right on the end of it.
Well, I'm 72, and I'm toward the end of the boomers. I was born in 51.
You're not that much toward the end of the boomers.
No, I mean,
yeah,
I'm not right smack in the middle.
I think like 60, maybe 60. So yeah, I think right around there is when Gen X kind of started. Yeah. Although they didn't know what to do with
66. Gen X, you're a young pup.
A young pup. So he's like, never mind. Route 66. I was thinking. I was trying to think of something pithy and cute.
I was thinking 77. Sunsets.
Yeah.
Rowdy Yates.
Get your kicks on Route 66. That would be a fun trip someday.
That would be.
Get a little trailer and just get on Route 66, and for us it'd be coast to coast and come back toward the middle.
Highway 82 goes all the way to the East Coast.
It does not.
It does. Starts in Alamogordo and goes all the way to the East Coast.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Sure doesn't feel like it. He says, "Yeah." I hear you.
I don't feel like it here. My neck and my back and my knees tell me.
Tony, we took Narcy and Jen out to White Sands, and I took my sand surfboard. Stupid. I paid for it yesterday and still dragging today.
Oh, I forgot to ask you how you're doing.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
Just old. Didn't break anything, didn't strain anything.
But I tell you, Jim was a big hit. Talk about millennials and Gen Z. He was a big hit. There were a group of about 15 of them, I think.
Yeah, that was a neat group.
From San Francisco, just friends who worked together.
Software engineers.
Oh, okay. I figure they were from California, but taking vacation together. And
they had those funky blue discs that weren't working.
Oh, they're like scooching themselves down. And Jim comes out with his 180 mile an hour sand surfboard waxes it up real good for them. And one first guy like stands up on it and goes, shoo. So they decided not to try to go straight down, but to go at an angle. And, yeah.
You know, that was a neat example. All of us blending with them when they approached us. We just happened to be on the same dune of Christians spreading just good feelings with,
Right. Yeah.
with other
Yeah,
people
yeah,
in
just
their community.
kindness. And
Yeah.
but one thing about them, they were like super encouraging for one another.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But one guy just couldn't quite get the board down, and nobody teased him. Everybody
Oh
was,
man,
okay,
they were
try
all
this.
encouraging. Yeah, man, you almost got it. You know. So
Yeah, they were good friends. They were good people.
Yeah, that was fun. And then they were going to Carlsbad Caverns. And so I didn't tell them, you should go through Roswell, go to the Alien
They came
Museum.
to the Clown Crawl.
They said they were going to. I actually went to Mad Jack's because they said they were going to stop there. And I'm like, how'd you hear about that? And one girl says, someone on the plane was telling us about it, you know. So, or in El Paso, someone in El Paso was telling them about it. But anyway, so Mad Jack's, and so I went there. I thought, oh, it'd be cool to see them there. I didn't, and I said, did a big group of people come through? And they're like, no, not today. And I said, okay, well, they said they were gonna. I'm hoping they were just getting a little bit of a late start.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, they're young and stay up late and sleep in late.
Well, they were on a sand surfboard. That'll take a lot out of you.
And I tell you what, I saw took a lot out of them was coming back up, and I'm going, I feel so much better. Yeah. And I do realize that they're breathing at 0 feet.
Yeah, they started at sea level.
Yeah, and so they're coming up. You know, they're at 46. You know,
Narcy surprised me. He ran from the bottom to the top of one of those dunes.
Now he did fall over when he got to the top.
He did,
but he's like, well, we're a mile high, you know,
dude.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Yeah, that was fun, but I did, just cool, just a good reminder that what God has called us to do, He's called us all to do. He just calls some people to do it in different places, different ways.
Yeah,
and so
reach out.
To dig in, the demographics that I just kind of peeked into, just neck and neck, boomers, Gen X, and millennials just really put together about
75%.
Yeah, 3/4. What I haven't had a chance to look at yet is what the 10-year projection is going to be. Yeah, because I feel like things are happening so fast that I don't know that keeping up is an option for us anymore. If we keep up, we're going to be behind.
Yeah.
That we need to start trying to look ahead and
like surfing. The waves go by you. You got to get ahead of
surf. Yeah. And so I'm horrible at trying to figure this stuff out with technology. There's some guys that, man, they just, I don't know, they get that. I remember, well, none of you guys, well, Bethany's younger, but she's just only a few steps behind me. She's not too many. But I'm dating myself a bit. So they used to have almost 8.5 by 11 floppies. I don't know if you remember the big giant ones, but then they had the 5 1/4 inch floppies.
We thought that was awesome.
Well, then they went to the 3.5 inch.
They held like at 1 point something megabytes.
Yeah, the other one held like 570K, and then 1.44
that was it, 1.44
meg. It was the 3.5, the hard ones, so they were more durable.
Now you've got terabyte thumb drives.
I got a 64 gig in my pocket that's only that big, you know. But I tried to guess where that was going. I said, "Oh man, the small one, that's it, 1.44 meg. You wouldn't need any more than that." And then they came out with the zip drives, which actually they were using here to back up the stuff, the financial stuff when I first came, and that held 100 meg. That was crazy.
It was crazy.
And then they went to the CDs, and I forget what a CD holds. I know a DVD holds about 5 gig.
Yeah, I was thinking 5 something.
The DVD holds 5 gig. A CD, I forget what it holds, but I'm like, man, that's it. And then the read-write CDs.
Yep.
And I just kept kept trying to figure out where they were going next, I would have never dreamed. It's so small, I might not be able to find it. Plus, I have tons of stuff in my pocket. I feel like Dylan Benshoots at one time. I swear, a dude pulled a tape recorder out of his pocket one time when he was in middle school. So there's my 64 gig thumb drive.
Pull that up so they can see.
Well, it's tiny, and this is cool because it's got the USB.
Oh, that's nice.
Regular and the USB-C, so I can use it on
that's cool.
laptop. But
64 gigabytes.
Yeah, and I used to think Star Trek. I thought they were making up words when they talked about a terabyte. You know,
when they talked about or walked up to a door and it opened without it touching it.
Or you talk to the computer and it talks back.
Yeah. Siri.
Yeah.
That's a quarter.
She's listening. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The money doesn't look real anymore. So it's
Bitcoins.
Squirrel, rabbit. Here you go. So I need to figure out. I've seen this once before, and I meant to research and see, but I don't know if you guys know this. On the 2020 quarter, can you tell what that is on the back? Yeah, I'll let you move it around.
Bat?
It is a bat.
It is a bat.
What happened in 2020?
We all went bat crazy.
Where did the coronavirus come from? Bats.
Ah, well, that's what they say. Who knows?
Well, no, it did. It came from bats. But my conspiracy theory had it. I don't think it's much of a conspiracy theory. They were monkeying with the bat virus and changed it. They were actually the lab in Wuhan. What they were doing was trying to, and there's a word for it, but trying to see how easily that would cross species.
Oh, well,
apparently pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
Yeah. So, but isn't that creepy? There's, that.
Is that why, or
Wuhan.
Just coincidence?
I think they printed this before all that. I think this was printed before 2020, not after.
So just coincidence.
I don't know. It depends on how many conspiracy theory hats you have. Here's another weird thing. Now I know the other one. Well, I don't. I'm pretty sure the other one was a coincidence, but it's an odd coincidence. You remember the space shuttle that broke up over West Texas? Mm-hmm. The license plate that they had at the time in Texas, right? So you got the Texas license plate. One of them had a West Texas scene. So there's cactus and all that other, and the space shuttle.
Wow.
And it broke up over West Texas. That's weird, but that doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about.
Actually, it does.
Okay, technology.
If you reach way out there, this is a 4-mile cognitive leap. But staying informed with current issues and things going on so that we can relate. That would be a good question for Paul Friday. Okay, we know we need to stay up with the culture. Oh. How do we do that?
Help me remember that, because Friday's 2 days away, and I might. You guys help me remember. So how do we keep in touch with our community, with the culture, with what's happening and what's going on? What are some ways that we can do that? Because it is easy. I live here in town, even, and I feel like it kind of blindsided me. It's almost like I just woke up one day and said, "Wow, everything changed here."
Yeah, we went walking with Narcys and Jen, and there's new stores. There's marijuana dispensaries.
We've got like
blown away.
3 or 4 of them up here.
I had no idea.
I'm glad at least that they didn't coin the term here that they did in Estes Park right after Colorado legalized marijuana. Everybody's high in Estes Park, elevation, whatever. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, So you just mentioned one, so this is good. We can bring this up with Paul. One of them is walk around town.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I don't remember. It was probably when we had visitors the last time that we walked through town. By the way, one of the hidden gems, I think, and I haven't been around the shops a lot lately, but one of our hidden gems is, oh, good grief. it's the store right next to Green Mountain Real Estate. I don't think it's called the Cloudcroft Trading Post, but it might be. They have all kinds of cool stuff. I get, and it's like really reasonable. You know those Mexican blankets?
Yeah.
I got a big one of those for like $35. Yeah, and they, somebody makes them in Mexico and brings them up.
Huh.
So anyhow, so that's one way is just go walk around town.
Yeah.
You say, I'm just going to pick a day, or I don't know, maybe I need to start doing this. I need to get back into walking, but just once a week, just walk around the shops.
Yeah, it was fun talking to people on the boardwalk. Hi, where are you from?
Cloudcroft.
Oh man, I did that Sunday. And if you're listening, I apologize again. James and Martha. Martha walked in without James. I says, hi, where are you from? She said, here. I says, yeah. And I apologized to her. She says, oh, I'm not an extrovert. I don't talk to people.
Yeah.
So that's another one. Talk to people.
Yeah. And so that's, some of the ideas that I have as we head into this next part. One is to do a survey among our church.
I'm excited about that. I want to do the survey
in town.
Say, hi,
Yeah.
excuse me, can I trouble you for just a second?
Yeah. And that's the other one. And we need to get a group together so we can brainstorm and come up with good questions that are open enough that they don't feel leading,
That Tuesday study might have some examples of
Yeah.
those.
I remember this is way back. Got a political poll one time since we're in election year. Gosh, we've gone over 34. Political poll one time. And this was, if this isn't a leading question, and by the way, my major undergrad was counseling, minor psychology. So we had to do all kinds of stats and survey kind of assessment stuff. And you don't want to ask questions like this in a survey, but on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being I strongly disagree to 5 being I strongly agree, how would you respond to this statement that George Bush is the worst president that this world has ever seen? Is that a leading question? You know what I mean? So we want to ask them open enough that they don't feel like we're trying to lead them somewhere, but narrow enough that we can actually get some good information from them.
Cool. Well, that'll be fun.
One of the things I want to do and to experiment, because with Gloo, GLOO, is a service that we're starting to use now. Same people that do the YouVersion Bible app. You can actually send surveys out through there. So I want to kind of experiment with our leadership, with our church, but I also want to see, now that we kind of have an idea of demographics in our community, what the demographics in our church are. And we can kind of do that anecdotally, but I think it'll also be a good chance to kind of work on the
bump start.
the survey.
That'll be cool.
So anyhow, we've gone just a little bit long, but so much fun. Yeah,
I didn't know what we were going to talk about.
Time went by, and we were so tired when we first started, so I feel energized now.
Woo-hoo.
So thanks. Thank you guys for hopping in. Friday, don't let me forget, we're going to ask Paul, how do we stay connected in our community? How do we keep up with things that are happening and going on? I hate watching the news, so that's not going to be my favorite way. That might be your way, maybe. And you and I have talked about this before. We tend to watch our news outlets that are slanted toward our point of view. You don't even have to do that anymore. Google does that for you.
Yep.
All of your social media, we're going to be talking about that, and the youth retreat. We're going to watch The Social Dilemma Friday night.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because I want them to understand that, and then we're going to jump into Redeem the Screen Saturday morning. But if you haven't watched The Social Dilemma, it was on Netflix. I hope it still is, because I'm planning on watching it.
Yeah.
The Social Dilemma, really good. It's not a Christian video, but it's like a little documentary by the people who originally created we call them algorithms, but the AI for the social networks, for Facebook, Instagram, or whatever those others are. I'm going to watch it again before then.
Me too.
That targets it for you anyhow. So I don't, the news isn't my favorite thing to watch.
I like, if I do the news, BBC is cool, because it's like, what are those crazy Americans up to now?
So you ever watched Al Jazeera?
I've seen it, and I think I've watched it once, but it was just as slanted as anything else. So,
Sure, but at least outside of the U.S. slanted.
Yeah.
To get other perspectives. Anyhow, let me pray
Okay.
for you guys. Lord, thank you. Thank you that you put us at this place at this time to minister to these people, to reach them with the gospel. And Lord, help us to do that well. Help us along the way to encourage one another to as your word tells us to do, to spur one another on to love and good deeds. God, we want to when Jesus returns, we want to be found doing exactly what you've called us to do. And that is making disciples. So help us to do that well. Help us to be intentional in that. We pray that you give us wisdom, and God, that you would just work through your Spirit in the lives of the people around. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks for hanging in with us. They start dropping when we start winding up a little bit there. I'm going to try something just for fun. Oh, my little Stream Deck didn't work. Oh well, I won't try that. I'll just click the buttons just like I always used to. Love you guys. We'll see you on Friday.